can be free. I take the weight on my shoulders. I feel the sky come down on me. And I can hold it much longer. Gonna let go so I can be free. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah.
FT Live, how you doing? Just talking about trolls, and LoCain doesn't have to deal with that because he doesn't really look at the socials. Plus, he just smiles, and then the trolls all melt off of all of their phones. Isn't that how it works?
Yeah, that's how it works. Stay away from the social media. You live a better life that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What if LoCain? What if like your boss or your roommate you don't want makes you have it? I mean, maybe
That's not true. I'm not physically like holding you to
no,
your
but
phone.
no, okay.
And you enjoy Twitter.
I enjoy both of them, but I just think it's funny that people take it so seriously. I mean, we talk about this a lot, but it's why do people take it so serious? It's not. Well, I'm not telling you
I
to.
don't think
go
you're
out.
asking the right guy.
No, but he can maybe answer for me. But why do people go out and like they take it so serious? If you're talking about like a baseball game, it's not life or death. It's a baseball game. It's not like we're talking about issues of like.
This
life
is
or
not
death.
politics. This is baseball.
This is just baseball.
Well, they kind of treat it like politics, I mean, people are in love with their teams, and you say anything wrong or out of the way, they'll definitely let you know about it. So yeah, I mean, we got to lighten up around here. We're just analyzing games, picking games, and having fun with it. But
I agree.
certain people take it to another level.
We are for the people. We'll have some fun today with the scores from yesterday. One number before all of that, just wanted to give a quick congrats in case we don't get to it later. Paul Skeens, $9.2 million signing bonus. He will be a Pittsburgh Pirate. It is happening probably
He was
next
gonna be a
year.
Pittsburgh Pirate no matter
But
what.
I'm saying he agreed. It's real. The Pirates actually took their alligator arms
They
down
had
into
to.
their pocket
Because
and hand. I know.
Can you
I know.
imagine if they didn't sign him?
It's happened before.
I know, but can you imagine if they
would-
didn't sign him?
It would be.
Dude, people in Pittsburgh would be like, yeah, remember how they did the boycott, the reverse boycott in Oakland? There would be a real boycott in Pittsburgh. Like there would be nobody at a game. Like,
Yeah.
You have to sign this dude.
That's fair. That's fair. Hey, we'll talk to Russ Dorsey in about 15 minutes. Lucy Burdge is going to join us during this hour to go over some picks. JD Davis in hour number 2 from the San Francisco Giants, as well as Freddy Peralta. Let's charge the damn mound. LoCain, are you jealous that you didn't play baseball last night in the major leagues? Because basically everyone homered and almost everybody scored double-digit runs. I mean, Sarah Lang said there were 4 games where both teams scored double-digit runs. First time that's happened since 1894. And also there were 12 teams total that scored double-digit runs. This was the most crazy offensive day. There's a bunch of these stat lines that tie it back to these 2 days in 1894. So what the hell's going on?
Hey, man, maybe something in the air. I'm not sure, but everyone was swinging it. A lot of runs scored yesterday. The tough part about it is if, we score that many runs, we're usually getting probably six at-bats. And for the majority of the time, you're probably getting 2 or 3 hits as a hitter. But I've also been on the other end of that where I've also went 0 for 6, 0 for 7, and I wasn't able to join the party of scoring all those runs.
There's always one. There's always one dude that doesn't get it. The's got to be
That
someone
goes
to make
like
all
0
the
for
outs.
6?
Always that guy.
And now is he sulking in the clubhouse?
He's trying to hide it, but he's kind of over in the corner, like everyone's dance party. Now think about if you're like the Braves, you score 13 and lose.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole lot of dudes that should be happy but are pissed.
Yes.
Right?
Austin Riley had 7 RBIs, 2 homers. Pissed? Got to be pissed, right?
I mean, you act pissed. Inside, you're like, but he's already got a contract, though. So it's kind of like.
Right. It's not like he's,
Yeah, but
earning his
man.
money or something. Like he is, but it's not like he's like, oh, shit, this is
Yeah.
going to get me paid more. You're
Like
already
yesterday,
locked up.
Bobby Witt, 0 for 5. They scored 11.
Mhm.
A bunch of overs on the Tigers, even though they scored 11 or 10.
I mean, there were 3 11-10 games yesterday.
Let's see who else. Let's. I hate to call dudes out, but
Mets won 11-10.
Reds. Everyone had a hit. Giants. Wade Jr. only had 2 at bats, so he was 0 for 2. That don't really count.
No.
But Atlanta, I think everyone had a hit.
Well, let's go to
No,
Atlanta
Ozuna
for a
0
sec.
for 4.
Oh, Ozuna was
Gurriel
0 for 4?
0 for 6.
Oof.
There's the 0 for 6.
You know
There
who
it
had the
is.
best day in Atlanta? I know the Braves lost, and yes, oh my gosh, the Braves have lost 3 games in a row and 4 or 5 since they had a 27-4 run. They have so much cushion in their lead in the standings. It's ridiculous, but they snuck in a little signing there. Did you see that, LoCain? Travis
Yes.
d'Arnaud again. They keep doing this. We'll give you 1 year, $8 million for next year, and then we take that club option for the year after that. It's good money for a backup catcher, and the Braves have a theory, and there's Robert Murray posting more about it. The Braves have a theory. 2 catchers that are capable of starting games for long stretches. One happens to be a star now in Sean Murphy, but he only catches about 2/3 of the time, and the Braves are thriving from it. If you look at the numbers, the thing that stood out to me was Dave O'Brien posted that at the catching position, the Braves rank first in homers, on base, slugging, and OPS. That's good.
Yeah, I mean, whatever they've been doing, they've been doing a great job of managing the team, putting together great signings, and like I said, they find a way to just keep the team flowing and keep it strong every single year. And I mean, paying dividends right now because they're playing well, and they're a lot of fun to watch for sure.
The thing about the 2 catchers is they want their starter
Mm-hmm.
Murphy now. Who, I mean, it was pretty.
Did you just do starter with quote marks?
Yeah, because either one of these dudes could start.
Yes.
I mean, I saw Travis d'Arnaud a couple weeks ago in Tampa, and I was making fun of him. I'm like, "Oh, you're too old to play every day now." And he's like, "Man, I got the life now." He's like, "Because I get paid, and Sean Murphy's like the best catcher in baseball, and I play it twice a week, maybe DH every once in a while. Come in, hit a homer. And
Good for longevity, isn't it?
But
keep him in the league longer?
They want their starter, again, I'm going to do it just for you, starter to go like 100 games.
Mm-hmm.
And then they want their backup to go the other 62-ish. And then you can mix and match. You can, pinch hit, do whatever you need to do in between. It might not be 162 if someone gets hurt or whatever happens. But that way it breaks it up. They think it keeps them both fresh. And now with the DH, like they've been DH and Murphy, they DH d'Arnaud. So it's a good plan if you can find 2. Now, the Braves are the only team that has 2 that can do this. The Phillies, they're running Real Muto out there 150 games this year. Why? Because they don't got, their backup guy is, I think, Stubbs, right? And he's serviceable, but he's not Travis d'Arnaud or Sean Murphy. So that's what you run into is not a lot of teams can find, a lot of teams have a hard time finding 1 catcher, but to find 2 catchers of this quality is almost impossible.
And it's smart to keep paying d'Arnaud, though, who's a veteran who likes his role. And it's not cheap. I mean, that's more than most backup catchers are getting in $8 million.
But he's not a typical backup catcher.
Right. But isn't that a position where you want to have the depth?
Yes.
I'm obviously preaching to the choir here, but that's an important position
Not if
where
I
you
was
have
playing, though, I
d'Arnaud.
want to catch every game.
I know you want to catch every game. I know you'd make an argument for it.
No. I get it, though, because at the end of my career, my last 2 years with the Braves, my first year I was supposed to be to Christian Bethencourt, who's now in Tampa. I was supposed to be like the Travis d'Arnaud, play 60 games, whatever, back him up. I ended up playing over 100 because things happened. The next year they signed Tyler Flowers, and they said, "Hey, we want you to do 162." Well, he ended up playing better, so he ended up playing more, which I get. But that was the start of it, right? They said we want to have 2 guys we can rely on to play, and that was the first time I kind of had ever heard it. And now they've just continued, and the quality obviously has gotten better.
Smart, though, because LoCain, a lot of people kept throwing Travis d'Arnaud's name out there over the past few months in trades. They were like, "Oh, this team needs a catcher. d'Arnaud's a good guy that they could pick up." And I'm like, are we sure that the Braves want to trade him? Because also, in addition to what he contributes on the field, he is very well liked in the clubhouse. Yes. So I'm like, are you sure? Because the Braves certainly can afford him. Why would they trade him if they're going for a World Series? Why would they trade their depth away like that? It makes no sense.
No, it makes zero sense. I mean, like you said, the guy's well liked. He's kind of the total package. He can play on the field. He's well liked in the clubhouse. I think that all kind of meshes together. And as you go throughout the entire season, you need guys like that. So, I mean, you have catching depth, but you never know when somebody might go down. And you have another solid option to turn to if something does happen. So now, let's keep d'Arnaud and just keep rolling away, doing the things we've been doing all season long.
Braves are running their operation there in a very smart way to keep continuity going with all their players too. So I'll give them props there. Let's flip it to the Red Sox. The first place Boston Red Sox in the American League Central.
Oh, jeez.
You looked up. You're like,
wait, what?
Are you ready to correct
no, because
me?
also... Well,
and they're better than the Yanks.
By the way, stay off the American League Central. Every team in the division scored 10 runs yesterday, so take it easy on the Central.
And so did half the league. So did half the league. Okay, so did you see what Alex Cora said? Quote, "It's not about how many prospects you have or where your farm system is. The one that really counts is how many games you win in October and how many games you play in October." He's talked before, like earlier in the season when they went through some struggles about the roster. They're pretty good right now. They've been on a nice run. They're beating the teams that they're supposed to beat, except for yesterday, I know, against the A's. They'll bounce back. We'll get to that later. But they're 51-44, fourth place in the wild card, fourth place in the division. They're 1.5 games away from a playoff spot. They're better than the Yankees record-wise right now.
The Yankees are in last place.
The Yanks are in last place. They're missing Judge. My thing with the Red Sox is, I'll admit, I was wrong. I didn't think they would be in this spot. I thought they'd be 500-ish. They're a little above that. They still might finish 500-ish. My point is, this team should be a buyer at the trade deadline, shouldn't they? If they had pitching, their offense is pretty good.
Dude, I love this quote from Alex Cora as a player. Screw those prospect dudes. Like, let's go get real dudes. Let's go get big league players. If I'm on the Red Sox, this fires me up. Now, this is the Dave Dombrowski approach, like trade the farm system, go try to win a World Series. And it's worked for him in a lot of places, right?
Mm-hmm.
Marlins, Detroit, it almost worked for him. Red Sox, he got one, right? Philly, they lost in the World Series last year. But he has a very specific MO, which is trade away all the prospects. I'm going to get you to the World Series. Now, if you guys win it or lose it, that's up to you. But we're going to get there because I'm going to go out and get you a bunch of like big league players. But then the farm system is shit. That's why he leaves. And then it takes teams a while to get back. Like look at the Tigers, look at the Marlins. I mean, all these teams, right? But they get their World Series. They get to the World Series and have a chance. But listen, if I'm a Red Sox fan or I'm a Red Sox person, I love this quote from Alex Cora because I'm like, this dude wants it now. He doesn't give a shit about a guy in A-ball that no one's ever heard of. Let's go, boys. Let's bring them.
Is it a shot at the front office / ownership to do more because the Red Sox haven't been as aggressive in the last few years as you'd expect them to be?
No, I think it's Alex Cora being honest and saying this is what I believe and we have a shot. And listen, as a guy like you said, I bet against the Red Sox this year. I'm going to have red hair here before too much longer. Like my hair is going to look like this. But
yeah, that's real. That's real because they have a better record than the White Sox, and I don't think that's changing.
No, because the Red Sox talking about buying people, and the White Sox can't wait to get rid of everybody. So it's only going to get worse.
They might be trade partners.
Ooh, maybe I can make a side bet on that.
They need pitching though, Lo, and I mean, if they pick up some pitching, they can hang around in the wild card race, and I think that's what Alex Cora was calling for. Like they had one of the weirder trade deadlines last year, and I'm hoping that they learned from that.
Yeah, I agree with what Cora said. You know, when you get an opportunity to get to the World Series or get in the playoffs or whatever the case may be, you just want a shot, you know, because I know a few guys that haven't even sniffed the playoffs or haven't even sniffed the World Series. So if you get an opportunity, you take full advantage of it, you go out there and you try to win it. And like AJ said, get rid of the guys in low A. No one cares. It's all about winning World Series, winning championships, and we'll figure out the rest later.
I like that.
The only guy who cares is that guy that gets traded in A-ball. He cares.
He cares.
His family cares.
No, the front office cares, right?
No,
because
don't.
the front office, if the guy ends up being a stud.
How many? Okay.
Well,
how many
we've
times,
talked about
LoCain, how many times have you been on a team and a team is like, we're going to make the playoff, we got a chance to make the playoffs, but we don't want to trade Jimmy Bob
Fernando
Gonzalez.
Tatis Jr. for James Shields?
Well, that was a mistake. But,
Yeah, that was a bad
but
mistake.
here's the thing. Like, we're not going to trade Jimmy Smith in A-ball for some guy that can help us get to the postseason and possibly win a World Series.
The Jaguars receiver?
Yeah, I don't know. And then Jimmy Smith doesn't end up being shit, but you could have had to make a run. Like, it's like, yeah, it's great if they turn. Yeah. And then, of course, the ones no one remembers that we've talked about trades on here the last few days. You can't even name the dudes because they barely played in the big leagues, but they make the move, right, for that guy, and they get these guys back. But they only remember the big ones, like Fernando Tatis. Like, of course, the guy turned out to be a superstar with ringworm. But now, of course, they're like, oh, and then James Shields goes and gives up the home run to, I mean, but they remember that one because of the name.
Yeah, and fans value aggression. And the Boston Red Sox are a big market team, and they are a roller coaster usually of a franchise. It's like we win a World Series, then we have some last place finishes. They're kind of all over the place, which is okay. I mean, they've still won a lot more than most of the rest. So just throwing that out there.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that assessment. Like, for me, I feel like I was one of those guys that got traded from when I was in Milwaukee. You know, they were going up the, trying to get to the playoffs, and they traded, me and a few other guys for Zach Greinke. So, I was kind of a, nobody back then, but, it kind of ended up working out for both sides. So I've been a part of trade like that. So I think it's well worth it.
Oh, I remember that trade.
Mhm.
We'll get into that another
He was
time, maybe
traded?
in the weeds. LoCain? Yeah, he was traded.
Yeah.
Just throwing it out there. All right, first poll question. Scan the QR code on your screen, or you can go to watchstadium.com/foul territory. Who will win the last AL wild card spot? Red Sox, Yankees, Angels, Mariners, Guardians. Throwing it out there. We'll go over results later. Let's continue this combo with Russ Dorsey next.
Today is July 19th, and we turn back the clock to take a look at some unforgettable moments in baseball history. In 1910, Cy Young, one of the most revered pitchers in the game, accomplished an extraordinary feat by securing his 500th career victory. Playing for the Cleveland Indians, he led his team to victory against the Washington Senators. Young's record of 511 career wins, an achievement many consider invincible, still stands today. Jumping to 1960, the stage was set for another phenomenal pitcher, Juan Marichal. Marichal made a sensational debut with the San Francisco Giants, pitching a one-hit shutout against the Philadelphia Phillies. Known for his high leg kick and breadth of pitching styles, Marichal ended his career with an impressive 243 victories and a 2.89 earned run average. Fast forward to 1979, on this day, Rick Ankiel was born. Ankiel began his career as a highly touted pitching prospect for the St. Louis Cardinals. However, after struggling with control issues, famously known as the yips, Ankiel made a triumphant return to the majors as an outfielder. Showcasing his hitting skills, Ankiel launched 76 home runs in his career, an impressive number for a former pitcher. And lastly, on this day in 1989, Cleveland's Joe Carter put on a power display, smashing 3 home runs in a single game for the 4th time in his career. This tied him with Lou Gehrig for the American League record. Carter drove in 6 runs, propelling the Indians past the Minnesota Twins. And that concludes our journey through the annals of baseball history for July 19th. Join us again as we continue to delve into the captivating history of America's favorite pastime.
Stadium's Russ Dorsey with us again this week. So let's just keep this combo going. Couple things. First off, Russ, do you remember the Zach Greinke LoCain trade?
All right, so I didn't remember that Lowe was in that trade, but I do remember when they went and acquired Greinke because it was a really big deal, and he didn't end up staying with Milwaukee, but he was really good in that short tenure up there north of where I am here in Chicago. But that was a really good team that when they added Greinke.
Okay, Lo, this is your time to brag and say, AJ, you're wrong. Sometimes you do need to hold on to your prospects. So tell us that deal, but also give us the second layer of that deal that turned into even more prized possessions for the Royals World Series winning ball club.
Yeah, it was, like I said, it was myself, Alcides Escobar, Jeremy Jeffers, and Jake Odorizzi at the time, and we were traded for Zach Greinke and Betancourt. So, I mean, for me, I was excited to be in Milwaukee because I got an opportunity to get called up that year. But going to Kansas City was kind of blessing in disguise for me. But yeah,
one more
also,
layer though, Lo. What was the next layer of that deal
the
too?
next layer of that trade also, you get Jake Odorizzi, and then you add in Will Myers, and then you go and get Wade Davis, which was our closer, dominant closer for us, and also James Shields, which I felt like he kind of turned our team into he taught us how to be team players. He taught us how to lead each other and get out there and figure out how to win games. So he was a huge asset to our team.
Wait, but it was Odorizzi for Wade Davis, and who was the other one?
Odorizzi,
no?
Will Myers for, I think it was Wade Davis and James Shields.
Wow. So
if I'm
Russ,
not mistaken.
We can't grade trades too early,
Yes.
but now we've had some time to let that one marinate.
I mean, at the time, you're probably like, okay, these kids are probably gonna be pretty good one day. And if in a haul like that, when you're trading that many young prospects, you're thinking, okay, if two of these kids end up getting to the big leagues, one of them becomes an all-star, but we got what we needed at the time, you make that trade every day. Looking back, it helped out Kansas City way more than it helped Milwaukee, obviously. But I think the cool thing for Lowe in that situation is he ends up being able to win the World Series in KC and then go to Milwaukee and have a great tenure there too. Most guys don't get that opportunity.
Yes. Yeah, I was able to go back home. The team that drafted me, and they drafted me, gave me my first shot, and to get the opportunity to, like you said, win a World Series, and then eventually go back to Milwaukee and try to do the same thing. Which we had a great run there. We went to the playoffs almost every single year while I was there. So we had the shot, we had the opportunity to go out and win a World Series.
Russ, I got one for you.
All right.
So in 2003, I was traded from the Twins to the Giants, right? The Giants got Booth Bonser, Joe Nathan, Francisco Liriano, okay? And then Joe Nathan went on to have a bunch of saves. They brought up Joe Mauer, right? So then they flipped Liriano for Eduardo Escobar to the White Sox. Then they flipped Eduardo Escobar for some guy named their closer now, Duran.
Yohan Duran.
So you're welcome, Twins. All the Twins fans that booed me, you're still welcome.
You're part of that trade web.
The web continues.
You're the Kickstarter.
Yeah.
Wow. The Twins
So
are
I got
only
traded
good
for all
because
those
of
dudes,
AJ.
and all the Twins fans.
That's
are mad
cool
at me.
though. That's
What's so
Frankie
cool about
Bill's boy.
baseball, connecting generations.
Yeah.
Those guys have you
One
to
of the worst
thank,
trades
AJ.
of all time, by the way. One of the worst trades of all time, by the way.
Hey, Russ, so the reason we're bringing all this up is long way to get to the comments from Alex Corey yesterday, just basically saying how, in my mind, he wants to see some aggression. Like, let's make some deals. Let's trade away some prospects. And the Red Sox are a playoff relevant ball club right now. How surprised are you? And what do you think / expect them to do over the next couple weeks?
They've been in this weird window for a while, like you guys were talking about. And during the offseason, it was just like, what are Chaim Bloom and the Red Sox going to do? Because they were in this weird period where, Rafi Devers was the guy that you're like, well, you have to sign him to an extension. This is one of the best young hitters in all of baseball, a cornerstone of what would be your franchise for the next decade. But those conversations were not going necessarily the way that the Red Sox wanted them to go, or Rafi Devers in that case. But then you end up being able to sign them to that long-term extension. After Bogarts goes to San Diego, you're like, all right, we have our guy that we're going to build around offensively. And then you're bringing in pieces here and there. And a couple years ago, you brought in Schwarber at the deadline. And you bring in Kike Hernandez. And you have guys that can play, right? Like you have a major league lineup. You're bringing in young kids and Tristan Casas and Dahlback didn't work out at the time, but they're trying to kind of rebuild on the fly. But I think the situation the Red Sox have gotten themselves into is something that we've seen here in Chicago with the Chicago Cubs, where you have a fan base that looks around and says, all right, we have what we suppose that's what's supposed to be this big spending, big money ball club. Yet we have the mindset of a mid-tier small market team. And fans don't want to see that because they're looking around at the Mets and the Padres and all these teams that are spending big money to go out there and win, and teams that should have the opportunity to do that because of the influx of cash that they have aren't doing that. And so I can't blame a guy like Alex Cora, who has seen the highest of highs with them being able to win in Boston, but has also gone through these stretches of losing in divisions where you've seen teams like the Baltimore Orioles go from 108 losses to being, to me right now, the best team in the American League.
Understand? Yeah, that's the Red Sox feeling. They're a big market team. They want to win, and they're trying to win every year. Now I get what Chaim Bloom's trying to do. He's trying to build it for the long term. But we talked about before you came on, Russ. Like, screw that, dude. Like, I want to win now, and the fans want to win now. They don't care about 5 years from now. It's every year. By the way,
they want both.
Yeah, of course. They want a happy medium, which very few teams have been able to achieve. Maybe the Dodgers, maybe the Astros. Yeah, but the Cardinals haven't won in a long time.
But they've been consistently
but they haven't
good.
won.
Yankees consistently
They
good.
haven't won.
Right. I mean, they won in the 21st century, but yes.
They haven't won in a long time.
Sure.
Right? I mean,
Right.
Russ, does it freak you out that there's like 400 TVs behind you?
I was
that have
looking
your
at that
face on
too.
it?
I like
With
that.
me on it?
Yeah, if you turn around and look, there's like 400
Inception.
TVs back there.
Yeah, it's kind of wild. It's kind of wild, but I actually like the setup because it feels like stuff is going on here at Stadium. But to you guys' point about the Red Sox, something that I'm assuming you guys heard all the time being in organizations, and something I hear all the time talking to executives is this idea of sustained success. And it's something that executives love throwing out there, like, hey, man, we want to have sustained success. We want to be a team that can compete for the long haul. But it's really hard to do. Like you mentioned, AJ, like it's really hard to thread the needle of we're going to put a team on the field that is competitive, not only to just, say, all right, we were in a 500 team, but can compete to get to the postseason, but also prepare yourself for 5 and 6 years down the road where you have young kids in your system that'll impact the big league level. There's very few teams that can do that. There's maybe 2 or 3 that do it really well. Houston's done it really well over the last couple of years. I think what the Cincinnati Reds are doing is a really good sign of that, being able to hit on your first round picks and have all those kids help your big league ball club. You're seeing that for them. So it's not easy to do, but at some point I do agree, and I think a lot of fan bases agree, like you got to go for it, right? You're not going to win the 2030 World Series right now. You got to win the one coming up here in 2023.
Unless you're the Astros and you target it and you say, we're going to win the 2017 World Series, and then you do it, which is still the craziest thing of all time. That
You're talking about the Sports Illustrated article?
Yeah, but they, Lunau and them, they told Ben Wright, or BR.
Writer.
I only know him as BR because he's the BR. If you know him at all, he goes by the BR.
Really?
Oh, yeah, he's funny as hell.
I know Ben. Yeah, he's great.
So he wrote an article that said, the Astros said, we're going to win in 2017. And they went out and won in 20, which is the craziest thing ever, that it was written and then they did it. But that's a whole different topic. Russ, we were on trades. We talked about trades with LoCain. Does one appearance, one game, Lucas Giolito went out and just bombed last night, right? Which could be his last start as a White Sox. Does it affect your value that much? Do you think it affects it, or is it more of a long-term or future thing that teams are looking at?
I think they're looking at the more significant period of time. You can chalk it up to just being a bad start. Sometimes you're like, all right, where's a guy mentally, knowing that your name's in a lot of rumors and reports? But yeah, you have scouts and executives looking at a larger sample size and saying, all right, with what the information that we have, what can this guy be over the last 2 months of the season if he's motivated on a team that has an opportunity to get to the postseason, or if you're a team that knows they're going to the postseason, of doing some real damage, potentially reaching the World Series. I don't think many teams would look at that and say, all right, one bad start right before the deadline, we're out on Lucas Giolito. I will say there are a lot of, quality starting pitchers that might be available, and to the point where there might be a team the 2 days before the deadline that right now thinks they're in it, that 2 days before the deadline are being realistic. We're not better than X, Y, and Z team that are sitting in front of us in the wild card standings. We're going to put this guy on the market and he's going to become available. Like, let's say the Padres sell and Blake Snell's out there. Blake Snell's been fantastic over the last 2 months. If I'm a team that's a contender, I'd call AJ Preller and say, hey, are you selling? Because if you are, give me Blake Snell right now.
All right. Well, Russ, I got a kind of a 2-part question for you.
Yeah.
For me, I agree with you. I don't think you can do both. I don't think you can try to compete and win a World Series, but also trying to salvage your team as well for the upcoming seasons. But for me, what do you actually think that the Red Sox will do something or do something before the deadline? And also, what makes the Baltimore Orioles the best, in your opinion, the best team in the AL?
So I'll start with the Orioles first. I think if you look at the consistency from Baltimore, right, what they've been able to do with a group of young players. Last year, they were the big surprise. They're not surprising anybody this year, and they're still able to play at that high of a level. And if you look at the Tampa Bay Rays, they were the hottest team in baseball for 2 months, right? Everybody's like, all right, they can hit well. They have great starting pitching. They have a really good bullpen with Fairbanks in the back end, good manager in Kevin Cash. But they've come back to earth. And you look at the standings right now, the Orioles are 1 game behind the Tampa Bay Rays that were so hot. And to be able to sustain different injuries, guys like Cedric Mullins, and to be able to have a young starting staff and still be able to tread water to the point where I don't think there are many teams in the American League that are better than the Baltimore Orioles. And I think right now, because of the way that the Rays have come back to earth, That's why I think Baltimore is the best team in the American League. But to your question about the Red Sox, I feel like they're in a similar-ish position to the Yankees, where you look at that division and they're not in it, right? You have Toronto, Baltimore, and the Rays that are all better. But in the wild card standings, they're right behind the Houston Astros, and the Yankees are right behind the Red Sox. So you got to ask yourself and be realistic and say, okay, are we a team that can actually do something in October? Are we a team that can even reach that point in time by going out and making a move? Or are we wasting our time by trying to, win that third wild card spot, maybe not even accomplish it, and then trade some of that prospect capital that we have?
So, Russ, do the Orioles go for it then? We've talked about how we want the Red Sox to go for it. We talked about this the other day. Do the Orioles go for it? And let's say Jackson Holiday for Ohtani or whoever else is out there. And do they chips all in and say,
But why are you trading their top prospect?
Because that's what it's going to take to get Ohtani. You're not giving away your 42nd prospect and be like, Angels, you can have Jimmy Smith and A-Ball. He's our 42nd prospect for Shohei. You're going to have to give something up.
Can I offer you like 3 prospects that are not my top prospect?
And the Angels are going to be like
Heston Kjerstad is very sought out right now. Maybe because they have a surplus, and I'm sure you've seen, Russ. I mean, Joey Ortiz or Jordan Westberg, who doesn't necessarily have a position for this team. There are a number of players that I could probably interest. Colton Cowser, that I could come up with that wouldn't involve Holiday, that might still beat any prospect package that anyone else offers.
I'm with you. By the way, AJ, you're really high on this Jimmy Smith kid. So
yeah,
maybe he's going to turn into something one day.
He's on every team too. He's on 30 teams.
But I do think that this is when it's right for the Orioles to go and do something. Not only are they so good, it feels like they're in their moment. Last year, you can make the case that they were a year early. I understand. But right now, with where you are, where you can look around the American League and say, there's not many, if any, teams that are better than us, you have to go out and make that move. Do I think that they need to go out and get Shohei Ohtani to make themselves a better team? No. There's plenty of great starting pitching, which I think would be the area that they go try to get, whether it's Marcus Stroman, if he's available, maybe Giolito, maybe a guy like a Lance Lynn, Blake Snell, like Jordan Montgomery. There's a lot of guys out there for them to acquire that wouldn't cost them a guy like a Jackson Holiday that makes them a better team. And I think for me, if I'm in that position as a GM for the Orioles, if I'm Michael Elias, I say, all right, who's the guy that has postseason experience that can kind of help lead a lot of these young guys and say, all right, guys, we're here now. This is what we got to do to try to win.
All right, you said it. Jackson Holiday for Lance Lynn. Boom, done.
It ain't happening, buddy. It ain't happening.
You said the guy with postseason experience can teach the young guys. There's Lance Lynn.
Okay,
that is not what it's going to cost, buddy.
I don't see it.
It's gonna be Lance Lynn for Jimmy Smith. That's probably what it's gonna be.
Hey! Jimmy Smith's a good player now.
The former Jacksonville Jaguars wide receiver who retired like 15 years ago. I want to take you to one other Midwest team. The Milwaukee Brewers have a little bit of separation right now in the NL Central, and we've given the Reds a lot of love, but also right now they've lost 6 games in a row. So forget the Reds for a second. I want to focus on Milwaukee. Brandon Woodruff's going to come back in the second half of the season. I think Corbin Burns is going to have a shove at second half of the season. I think Freddy Peralta has established himself as probably a really good 2 in my mind on most teams, and he's a 3 on this team. That looks like a good rotation. Bullpen's been pretty solid, especially lately. Thoughts on the Brewers now and what they should do? Because they had a disaster deadline last year, and they need to do the reverse this year to show that their ball club is legit. Like if they pick up some offense and another bullpen arm, this team could be a pain in the ass to deal with in the playoffs.
Right. And you look at what Milwaukee's been able to do as an organization since Craig Counsell became the manager. And I know Lo can speak to this. That was his manager for a long time. They're always going to be right there. They're always going to give themselves an opportunity to make it to October and reach the playoffs. And you look at that rotation that was supposed to be such a strength for them coming into the season with Woodruff and Burns and a frequent guest of the program, Freddy Peralta. Now that those guys are healthy and they're starting to show, all right, we're the team that's been there before. And I think that is the thing that separates them and the Cincinnati Reds. As much as people love the Reds, this is all new for them. And sometimes you don't know what you don't know. But having that experience of a long season where you're going to have those highs and lows, it does feel like Milwaukee's going to be prepared to ride that wave. And then when August and September comes where it amps up, they're going to be prepared for that. A guy that I think might be able to help Milwaukee, it seems like the kind of a guy they were acquired this time of year, maybe Jamer Candelario, right? A guy that can play a corner, third base, first base, maybe DH for a year, has improved a lot of different ways. The doubles machine, going to have a career high in homers. That's the type of Milwaukee Brewers pickup that we've seen for a long time.
I like that.
I like that too.
Yeah, that's a good name there. I like it. Hey, Russ, great catching up, dude. As usual, we'll see you next week.
All right, guys,
Russ,
appreciate it.
Russ, by the way, Mancini
Yeah.
said you owe him Bavets too. Not only me, but you owe him Bavets
That's
also.
not true.
Well, are you paying still?
No, you are. That's the point. You owe us both.
AJ, you played in the big leagues for almost 20 years. Like, I'm not
That was a
paying.
long time ago, Russ. You know,
Yeah.
shit's expensive.
Nah, I'm not trying to hear that. I'm not trying to hear that. Call Canrico, get some of that money.
Inflation, sure. Inflation, which means there's eight of our show instead of one behind Russ, which I just wanted to say, because I said it in the chat, is such a flex, because it, like, some places will have different channels on. It's like, no, screw that. FT Live on all of the freaking TVs. I love it.
As
I'm
much
all about it.
exposure as possible.
Hell yes. I'm with you, dude. Thanks, Russ. We'll talk to you soon, dude.
See you guys.
All right. And we'll come back with the poll results. We'll queue up another poll. And then the Legends Home Run Derby will be exposed next on FT Live. I have a long flight coming up in exactly 24 hours. Foul Territory is taking over Seattle, Washington on Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday. We will live stream our own version of the MLB Draft, an MLB Draft takeover, which will include conversations with big-time guests, some of which I can't even tell you right now, around the game of baseball.
Ago, the Seattle Mariners opened the 1987 draft with the selection of Ken Griffey Jr.
With the first pick of the 2023 MLB draft, the Pittsburgh Pirates picked Paul Skeens.
Anything else surprise you?
I thought Langford would go higher. I was surprised the Pirates actually made the right pick.
You were surprised?
I was
Why, because they're the Pirates?
because I felt like they would go with, and I don't think you could go wrong with the top three guys, with Langford and Skeens and Cruz. I just felt like they were going to take the guy that was going to take the least amount of money.
Thoughts so far?
I mean, the thing that obviously jumps out is the 1 and 2 for LSU with Skeens and then Cruz.
Hey, bro.
Hey, Paul. Just calling to congratulate you, welcome you. As I said in the text, we're ecstatic to start this journey with you.
I like that we've had, for the first time in history, the first and second pick coming from the same school.
What's up? We're back on Stadium. Braun, LoCain, Pierzynski. I'm excited for this one. The BSBLR Viral Hit of the Week is presented by Proven Brand, and there is talk of a Legends Home Run Derby. And here's the post. It got a lot of attention on BSBLR's IG, over 50,000 likes, and I think about 1,000 plus comments. There could be a Legends Home Run Derby at the 2024 All-Star Game. Some of this had to do with Ken Griffey Jr. being like, yeah, I can still do that. And the comments are insane too. We'll run a lot of them as we talk through it. And then I've actually picked up a few that I'm going to verbally mention. I'll start here because I know AJ will like this. Austin goes, Frank Thomas on Nugenics would be crazy.
Only if Doug Flutie does it with him.
A lot of Barry Bonds
she'll
call
like
outs. You have names for us, and I'll keep bringing up the classic comments right now in Baseballers IG. But you have names for us. People want Bonds, of course. There's a Jose Canseco call out.
Bonds won't do it.
Why?
Just he won't. He won't. He won't. Bonds is the one that, for me, would be the guy. Griffey, obviously. David, I don't know if David can do it. He succeeded. Tommy.
He kind of said he would do it. Tommy kind of said yes.
Frank, I'd love to see Frank. I'm trying to think of dudes that just hit bombs. Like, what about, can we get like a Rob Deere or somebody, you know what I mean? Like just some guy that just hit homers. I know Rob's a little old now, but I'm trying to think of dudes like, who else was big in the 90s that could just mash?
You got LoCain.
You got to get, I would say, Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa, right? We got
yeah. Hell yeah.
There we go.
Steve said Ozzie Smith.
No. Smith.
Steve, no, but that was funny. Patrick has a good one you'll like. Adam Dunn.
Oh, Big Dunn?
You think he
Dunn?
can?
Yeah. I saw Dunn not long ago. He could probably still do it.
Yeah? You think he can smash 400 plus?
Oh, easy. Dude,
okay.
He's big old boy.
Ryan said Manny Ramirez, A-Rod, Bonds,
Ryan
McGwire,
Howard?
Sosa.
What about Ryan
Howard? That's a good name. Yep. I like that.
Someone like that. Ryan Howard used to hit bombs. He won a home run derby, didn't he, in 2006?
Yeah.
In Pittsburgh, didn't he win?
Noe said Willie Mo Pena.
Oh, we're going what's the guy? Juan Encarnacion? What was the guy's name for the Reds?
Wasn't that him?
Juan Francisco.
Yes.
Willie Mo Pena.
This is fun. There are a lot of names you could throw out there. I don't know how many yeses you'll get on the invite. This isn't like Whit Merrifield's golf tournament where everyone says yes. You got to be able to swing it. Now, Jason Stark wrote a great article about this. This is not going to be, if it happens, the timer BS that the Derby has gotten out of control with. You would get outs, right? Matt Stairs or Spieth goes, Matt fucking Stairs.
Yeah, there you go.
These are great.
He could come off the bench and break one open in the ninth.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Those are all good. The problem is I don't want to get anyone to get hurt, though. Gosh, dog.
Like, hey, give them a year. Give them a year to get.
They got a year from now. Let's go. Next all. And also, I know Barry Larkin got hurt the 1 year, but can we do like the skills competition? Like, remember Benito Santiago? The catchers had like a target, and they had to hit the target at second base, and the outfielders threw balls. Like, what do you mean? No.
Not with current players. Teams wouldn't allow it.
Oh man,
no chance. Kratz is all about it too. There's a ton of good names still getting thrown out there. Austin says Juan Gonzalez, Guillermo Bagwell.
Wouldn't do it. I don't think he would do it.
Will get Big Sexy in there.
Who's Big
Mr. Sender?
Richie Sexton? Who's
yeah,
Big Sexy?
Probably. Gary Sheffield.
Oof. Yeah.
Can they use metal bats? See, then it would be fun. Let them use
but then you need to put netting around everything.
Yeah, and you can't have the random kids running around the field either, because someone's going to get smoked again.
Yes. So anyway, I love it.
It's really a great idea. Let's make it happen. That and the Piazza Clemens fight. Let's go.
Mm-hmm. I'm all about it. Okay. Lo, you in? You watch that? No?
Oh yeah, I'm all in. I'll tune in.
Would you participate?
Sure. Oof. I'm not a home run hitter. I'm just I'm ground ball line drive hitter. I got to stick to my game.
Did you ever do any derby or even in a BP? Did you ever say, you know what? Let me just see how many dingers I can hit for this one round.
Every now, I remember when I first got called up. I remember Prince and Ricky Weeks, and I always try to just hit line drives the other way, and they ended up. They would say, "Hey, I'll bet you such and such money if you can just hit a home run in center field." So they used to challenge me to hit balls out of the park. So, but yeah, that's probably the only time I really kind of challenged myself to hit home runs. But I stuck to the line drive swing for sure.
I'd put Lowe's name in there, and then a few more from our chat. Toasty said Andres Galarraga, Big Cat. Reagan said Miguel Tejada, AJ Early, Piazza, and then
Giambi. What about Giambi?
Dante Bichette. Have you seen Bichette? He's still he's yoked.
He's still jacked.
Yeah. He could probably throw a few over the wall.
A lot of good names.
Yeah, tons of good names. So I'm in. Let's book it in Arlington. It's way better than the celebrity softball game. Nobody's watching that.
Agreed.
Adam
No?
Jones played in it. Maybe.
Oh no, I like Adam. I'll follow it on his social. But I mean, which
He gave
one
up
would
a
you
homer.
rather
Didn't
watch?
He give up a homer to somebody. Adam Jones.
No, I don't watch the celeb softball.
No, it was
game.
on his Instagram or his
Oh.
Twitter. He was pitching. He gave up a bomb to somebody.
Really?
Pitching.
Yeah, but it's softball.
Still.
It's soft.
Booked him.
You're just it's not a fast pitch.
He threw it pretty hard.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Good to know. Hey, let's give you a little more on Proven Brand right now.
Okay, my name is Ron Washington. I'm the third base infield coach for the Atlanta Braves and the 2021 World Series champions. I always use the little glove first, just so they can develop some confidence catching the ball. And then once we go from the little glove, that's when we go to the pad. The little glove develop how you're using your hands. Now when you put the pad on, your hands have to work the same way to keep that ball on that pad. You never use one without the other because they both work together.
Good stuff from Wash. You can build your own custom glove at thepbpro.com or follow at thepbpro. Custom gloves, baby. You guys get custom gloves?
Yeah, you get to the big leagues.
Yeah. You can do it earlier now.
That's right. I mean, yeah, let's go. Every kid has everything custom now, Lo. Custom back, custom cleats, Nike ID, custom bags, custom everything. And it's the way of the world now. So let's go. Proven is proven well for Wash.
Yeah. It's a different world we're living in now. Everything, the kids are handed everything nowadays. But I remember Miguel Tejada gave me an infield glove, and I kind of used that as my way of preparing myself for the game day in and day out. I feel like it just improved my hand-eye coordination, and you had a little small pocket in the infield glove, so you had to basically be perfect when you catch fly balls out there. So yeah, I did that throughout my entire career.
And hey, you lose your glove if your name's on it. Just throwing that out there too.
People steal it though.
But,
that's the problem.
True. But then you still have the name. It's kind of weird. You're using someone else's glove with their name on it. I don't know. Yeah. Anyway, let's wrap up our first poll of who the last wildcard team would be. It looked like Seattle took a little bit of a lead there, then the Yanks, then the Angels. People are crazy if they think I do not see it. The Angels make the playoffs.
Well, the
at this
Angels
point.
keep beating the Yankees, so.
Yeah, but that series is going to come to a close, and you're going to have to beat other teams that aren't missing Aaron Judge right now. Second poll question, foul territory, or watchstadium.com/foul territory, or we'll throw the QR code up there for you. Who do you want to see in the Legends Derby next year? Barry Bonds, Manny Ramirez, Big Papi, Ken Griffey Jr., or other? I'm loving all the names you're throwing out there in the chat. Lucy Burdge back in action, joining us with our picks tonight. Next up on FT Live.
In case you missed it, here's some images from yesterday's action in Major League Baseball.
And now back to foul territory.
Lucy Burdge is back on FT Live and on Stadium. Lucy, great to see you. And just something to keep in the back of your head. We'll ask you in a few minutes. Second poll question running right now. Who do you want to see in the Legends Home Run Derby? Barry Bonds, Manny Ramirez, Big Papi. We're picking 2 Boston people just to try and at least make you decide there. Ken Griffey Jr. or a write-in candidate. So just store that. How you doing today?
I'm doing great. I missed you guys, but I guess happy 4th of July. I haven't been on since before that. And you guys were at the All-Star game, which is awesome. So I'm glad to be back and to see you guys again.
Thank you. And also, since we spoke, I know you got one of our FT Live shirts.
Yes.
The Foul Territory shirt, and you posted it. And then, I don't know if you saw, but there are scam sites up there across the internet that are trying to sell FT merch. And that number kind of doubled, too. Once you put it up there, there's like 8 sites that are complete bullshit.
I blocked all of them.
Sell bad Foul Territory merch. There's only one spot to get it.
Only one spot to get it. I saw those and I blocked all of them. Those are losers and scammers. So there's only one. Bozos and clowns. There is only one FT store.
Exactly. There's only one. FoulTerritoryShop.com. While supplies last. All right, let's go to our locks. Our BetMGM locks. First off, for Tuesday, we did not have a good day. Brock, don't pick the Yanks right now. AJ,
Oh,
what
Brock,
happened?
no.
I know.
What happened? Mitch Keller. Listen, I give Mitch Keller a lot of credit.
Mm-hmm.
He only had 1 punch out. He gave up 8 earnings, but he went 6 innings.
He did,
and he gave up a lot early. So they just left him out there, and I give that dude. He sucked for my bet, but for the Pirates, way to go, Mitch Keller. Dude, you sucked it up and took one for the team.
And everyone took one for the team yesterday. It was one of the highest scoring days ever, so I'll take it.
Yeah, but other teams were taking their dudes out. They just let Mitch Keller and said, dude, I'm sorry. But
ride it out. No, you're right. And I'd like to just mention, as you can see, we're doing well, and we're all up money-wise. I did lose on that big parlay we put out there yesterday, but my bet from the day before did cash because within 36 hours, suspended game, 4-2 final on that Reds-Giants game. So I hit the under very easily, and my K-prop had already hit for anyone that's really keeping receipts because I know there's some trolls that are looking at all of our picks. Yes. Yes, they are there. All right, so let's do our BetMGM locks for Wednesday. Lucy, lead us off.
Yes, so I'm going with a home run prop, and
Let me get Shohei Ohtani.
Well, that is one of mine today. However, I knew that would be a little bit boring. And Shohei Ohtani is just, what is there to say? Yeah, sure, he's going to hit a home run. And he didn't hit one yesterday, so he's due. Great. I am going with Matt Olson to hit a home run. This was today at plus 165 at BetMGM. I have never seen odds like this for a home run prop, but I think there's a very, very good chance it will hit, so there's some value in it. He has 30 home runs this season, of course, and 1 in his last 4 games. Great spot for him with Ryan Nelson starting for the Diamondbacks. He has given up 4 home runs in his last 3 starts and has given up 18 hits over his last 2 starts, with 9 in each of those 2. And Olson has 5 hits in his last 4 games. So he's been pretty hot at the plate, you could say. So he's due for a home run as well. So I think he can hit one tonight.
And Lucy, that number keeps flying all over the place. We've got you locked in at plus 180 when you sent it. I think it went to plus 165. Now it's at plus 170. So what's wrong?
Yeah.
You don't like?
No, I do. But we were supposed to do home run picks, and that's who I picked. So I'm like, what?
Oh, look at that.
Well, that's different.
That's my lock.
Different. And we don't
my
have time
home
for
run
picks.
is
We're
Shohei
gonna go over
Ohtani.
the poll.
Oh, okay.
All right, you go, AJ.
But that's great minds.
I'm going off Lucy's normal pick, Brian Bayo Day. I'm doing a same game parlay. I'm going 6+ for Bayo strikeouts, and then Waldichuk only 3 against the Red Sox. Come on, he can give you 3. They're going to need innings out of the starter, so he can find 3 strikeouts. That's plus 110. Bayo should get probably 8-ish, I would guess, against the A's lineup. So I feel like, I don't know, 6. I mean, it was 5.5 anyway, so you might as well just go to 6. If you just take Bayo and then you throw in the Waldichuk, you get to a plus number. So plus Lucy and I kind of ride Brian Bayo.
You guys love Bayo, and he's been great.
We sure do. No, I might actually add that into my picks for the day as well, because Bayo Day is a national holiday. So I love that.
Red Sox are playing good ball. We started off the show with them. I've actually got the Red Sox too on a run line, minus 1.5. I just want to get back on the winning side of things. Minus 135 is what I locked it in for. Rare off night for the bats, blanked by the A's. I don't see it happening again. Plus, you got your boy Bayo with the swing and miss, solid in his last 2 starts, and I think they're going to hit Ken Waldichuk. I mean, the Red Sox can swing it, so I'll take that one. That's a mid-afternoon game going on. And Lo, you've got the Dodgers in a run line game too, I see.
Yes, Dodgers was at -1.5.
Yep, minus 135.
Yes, there we go.
Awesome. Love that. And it's good news for them that Mookie Betts was not suspended for PEDs, because I fell for that fake John Heyman tweet yesterday.
What?
Which
Wait,
I fell for that. Did you? Oh my God.
Capital J and O, and then Heyman, and it said Mookie Betts is suspended.
Oh my God, I am the stupidest person alive, because it literally, the name was not John Heyman, and a bunch of people had quote tweeted it. So I thought I was like, oh no, it's your first reaction. And then I was like, what? Are you kidding me? Am I that dumb? No.
We
so
also
I'm
keep saying the Red Sox are going to win the World Series. So
well, yeah, that's true.
Hey, they're playing pretty well.
That is real news.
They're playing ball right now. Hey,
Better than
log
the
into the BetMGM Sportsbook app on iOS or Android and play Swing for the Fences. And you pick an area of the strike zone as a batter. And depending on the strike zone area that you pick, you get single, double, triple, homer, or a pop out in the prize associated with that type of play. You can play once a day. Prizing must be used on MLB and expires in 24 hours. Always bet responsibly. Gambling problem or concern? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. And let's show poll results to finish off here. We got like 30 seconds. A real 30 seconds here. All right, Lucy, your pick for the Legends Derby next year. Who do you want?
2, right?
No, 1. You got to pick 1.
Oh, Big
one
Poppy.
Pick. Poppy.
David
okay.
Ortiz.
I went Bonds.
Yeah. I mean, that's the ultimate one. Barry Bonds.
Well,
ultimate.
I'd say David Ortiz is the ultimate one. So there.
I think it would be a good matchup to see those two. But I think Bonds apparently, like, when he was with the Marlins as a hitting coach, he was hitting better than those guys. Like homer wise.
Best hitter I've ever seen. No one else is in the same solar system.
Fair. Lucy, great to see you. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
I'll see you in a couple weeks, guys. Thank you.
Gotta let go so I can be free. I take the weight on my shoulders.